Welcome, everyone. Today, we're doing a deep dive into, well, the really fascinating story of Nepali cricket.
It is quite a journey, isn't it?
Absolutely. We've got some great material looking at everything from, their first steps onto the international scene right up to where they are now.
And the challenges they're facing, too.
Exactly. So our mission today is to really get under the skin of it all, the history, the present state, those obstacles, and what the future might hold.
Sounds good. Where should we start?
Okay, let's kick off with the history. The beginnings.
Right. Well, the big formal step seems to be Nepal getting affiliated with the International Cricket Council, the ICC. That was back in 1996.
1996, so relatively recent in cricketing terms.
Compared to many established nations, yes, very much
Yeah.
so. And before that, cricket existed, sure, but mostly at school and club levels. This affiliation was different.
How so? What did that unlock?
Well, it wasn't just admin. It meant access to, structured international tournaments, development programs, frameworks, things that just weren't available before.
Right. Put them on the map, officially.
Exactly. And you have to remember, other countries had decades, literally decades of ICC membership benefits by then. So Nepal had some catching up to do.
That really puts their progress into perspective. Okay, so affiliation in 96. Then their first actual ICC match was 2004.
Yes, 2004, their first official foray onto that stage.
You can only imagine what that moment felt like. More than just a game, surely.
Oh, definitely. Symbolically massive. It's like, okay, we're here to compete. But practically, it also meant entry into a more regular schedule of international games.
Stepping up from just school and club stuff.
Precisely. That international exposure is crucial, not just for the players getting experience, but for raising the sport's profile back home, attracting interest, maybe investment down the line.
And then fast forward a bit, 2018. Achieving one-day international status. ODI status. That sounds like a really big deal.
It was huge. A watershed moment, absolutely. It wasn't just about the title or the recognition.
What changed? Tangibly?
Well, fundamentally, it shifted their development path. It meant a new level of more consistent funding from the ICC.
The money. Always important.
Crucial. And it allowed for a more predictable schedule of, competitive matches against higher-ranked teams. Proper competition.
So more experience, better funding.
And it spurred this move towards a more, let's say, semi-professional setup. You saw a real uptick in youth participation, too, because suddenly there was this clearer pathway. Young players could see a route to playing at the top level.
Okay, so that ODI status was a springboard. And now the ambition is the World Cup. Qualifying for it.
That seems to be the next big goal, yes. And qualifying for a tournament like the World Cup, well, that would be transformative.
Beyond just the prestige.
Oh, yeah. It elevates your standing internationally massively. You get more media attention, which can attract sponsors. Serious sponsors.
And for the players and fans back home.
Hugely inspirational. Imagine the effect on the next generation of kids picking up a bat. Plus, it would likely inject much-needed investment into, infrastructure and development programs.
Yeah, you can see how that would cascade. And speaking of inspiration, we've seen stars emerge, like Sandeep Lamichhane playing in the IPL. That's huge, isn't it? More than just one player's success.
Absolutely. Lamichhane breaking through like that, especially into the IPL, is incredibly significant. It shows that, look, despite the challenges within the system in Nepal,
Which we'll get to.
right, despite those, exceptional talent can emerge and compete with the world's best. His journey, it kind of highlights the raw potential that's there.
And acts as a motivator.
A massive motivator. It shows young Nepali cricketers, hey, this is possible. It puts Nepali cricket on the global map in a way team results alone might take longer to achieve. Might open doors for others, too.
Definitely raises the profile.
Yeah.
And domestically, the Everest Premier League, the EPL, gets mentioned. How important is a strong domestic league like that?
Oh, it's vital. Absolutely critical. It's the breeding ground.
Where players get blooded.
Exactly. It's where emerging players get regular competitive cricket against more experienced guys. They gain match toughness, they learn, they get noticed. It's the feeder system for the national team.
Makes sense. You need that foundation.
You do. The international stage is the spotlight, but the domestic league builds the foundation. Without a solid EPL, it's much harder to sustain success at the top level.
Okay, so the EPL is doing its job. But, like many developing cricket nations, Nepal obviously faces hurdles. What are the big ones?
Well, the sources point to a few key areas. A really fundamental one is infrastructure, or rather, the lack of it.
Meaning stadiums. Training facilities.
Yeah, high-quality ones. Without enough good grounds, proper training facilities with modern tech, it hinders player development. Simple as that.
Like trying to run that marathon without a proper track, as you said earlier.
Pretty much. And it also limits their ability to host more international matches, which affects revenue and fan engagement.
Okay, infrastructure is one. What else? It's not just about the physical stuff, right?
Right. Yeah, definitely not. Coaching and management structures are also highlighted as needing improvement. Deficiencies there.
How does that impact things?
Well, expert coaching, professional management, that's what provides the strategic direction. Think sports science, fitness, tactics, player welfare. You need specialized knowledge, consistent application.
Yeah, if there are gaps.
If there are gaps, it's hard to get the absolute maximum out of the talent you have. It makes it tougher to compete consistently against nations with really established, well-oiled systems.
Right. And the third big one, often the elephant in the room for emerging sports, money.
Yep. Financial constraints. The sources mention a scarcity of sponsorship and the kind of financial backing you need to compete internationally week in, week out.
How does that lack of funding become a bottleneck?
Well, finance drives everything, doesn't it? It pays for the infrastructure we talked about, for qualified coaches, support staff, decent player contracts, travel for tools.
The whole operation.
The whole thing. Without consistent funding, it's tough to invest, tough to plan long term. It can create a bit of a vicious cycle, limiting opportunities, making it harder to retain the best talent.
Okay, so infrastructure, coaching management, and finance. Those are significant challenges.
They are very real obstacles.
But despite all that, there seems to be real optimism about the future, fueled by young players.
Absolutely. There's this palpable enthusiasm and, frankly, talent among the younger generation. Names like Ravi Kumar and Human Ray are mentioned. That passion is infectious.
How crucial is that youthful energy?
It's the lifeblood, that grassroots passion, that competitive spirit. It shows a deep love for the game and a real willingness to work hard. That drive is priceless. It's the foundation you build on.
Provided they get the support.
Exactly, provided they get the right opportunities and backing.
And it's not just a few players, right? The sources suggest more young people generally are getting into cricket.
Yes, a growing youth interest overall. And that's fantastic for the long term.
How does that help the national team down the line?
Well, a bigger pool of players means more competition for places, a higher chance of finding those really exceptional talents. It strengthens the whole system from the bottom up.
Creates a stronger cricketing culture too, I suppose.
Definitely. More fans, more engagement, more support for the game at all levels.
And looking ahead, what about things like media coverage? Brand endorsements. Could that be a game changer?
Potentially, yes. Increased media coverage builds the fan base, creates heroes, gets more kids interested, like we saw with Lamichhane.
And the brands.
Brand endorsements bring in money, vital money, that can be reinvested into facilities, coaching, player development. Everything we've discussed, it creates a positive feedback loop. Success attracts attention, attention attracts money, money helps build more success.
So it feels like a combination of factors. You've got the raw talent and passion.
Which seems to be there in abundance.
Needing to be nurtured by better structures, better facilities, and, crucially, enough money, if those things align.
If they align, the potential for Nepal to really make a mark, to perform well in big international tournaments, it's definitely there. The sources are quite optimistic on that front, provided the support improves.
It's an exciting prospect.
It is. The ingredients are there. Now it's about putting them together consistently.
So, wrapping up this deep dive, it's clear Nepali cricket's story is still being written. Amazing progress in a short time, really, but still facing those big hurdles.
Absolutely. The trajectory is upwards, no doubt. But that continued support and encouragement from everyone involved is just essential to keep it going.
The foundations are laid, the passion is there.
But continued hard work and, importantly, investment are needed from players, administrators, fans, sponsors, the whole ecosystem. That's key to overcoming the challenges and achieving sustained success globally.
A really fascinating journey to follow. And maybe a final thought for you, our listeners. Thinking about everything we've discussed, the passion, the progress, the obstacles still ahead, how could people, even from outside Nepal, maybe contribute in innovative ways to help make Nepali cricket even stronger?
That's a great question.
Something to think about. We'd love to hear your ideas.